They say what used to be only a small silo and a couple of inconspicuous buildings surrounded by small fences are now totally different, right? They're arming up, building out their capabilities. These documents now make it possible for the first time ever to fully penetrate some of Putin's best protected secrets. Their official motto is as poetic as it is terrifying. Their motto for the Russia missile team is "After us, silence." Yeah. Putin's nuclear blueprints released. This is according to danwatch.dk. They say Danwatch and Der Spiegel have gained access to hundreds of highly detailed blueprints showing how Russia is carrying out an enormous modernization of some of the world's most sensitive nuclear weapons facilities. Pretty interesting website here. You can see a bunch of journalists came out and they did some 3D modeling on all this, and so we can go through this together. You can see they write, "In a barren and desolate landscape hidden away behind the southernmost tip of the Russian Ural Mountains lies one of the best protected military complexes in the world." And we zoom in here, taking a trip down into Russia, and they show us this. The area around a small town of Yasny is one of a total of 11 locations from which Russia can launch its land-based long-range missiles carrying some of the largest nuclear weapons in existence. Here, you can see in those white dots, our buried missile silos lie strewn across the naked landscape, ready to launch weapons that could hit Europe and lay entire cities to waste in under 10 minutes. Saying here, looks like they're modernizing them too. A long series of strategic nuclear weapons have been expanded and modernized, as seen here. There's one satellite image of what it used to look like, and now here is what it looks like now. Tons of activity around there in 2024. So that continues. Here's another example. See the difference there? Lots of construction, buildings going up, nuclear arsenal being built out. We zoom in a bit. They say what used to be only a small silo and a couple of inconspicuous buildings surrounded by small fences are now totally different, right? They're arming up, building out their capabilities, expanding significantly. Broad security zones, 3 layers of electric fences has been dug in around the bases. Extensive electronic surveillance and defense systems have also been installed with remote controlled machine guns, automatic grenade launchers, and modern air defense. Ooh, what's going on over there? They say in one satellite image, one can make out some of the buildings like the characteristics round watchtower and the innermost parts of the base. This is how researchers have kept watch over the development of Russia's nuclear forces for decades. But satellites cannot see through roofs or penetrate the ground. Thus, surveillance of the nuclear bases has always only reached this far and no further until now. Now they've got some documents. So here you can see is the blueprint. An enormous Russian security breach has exposed the innermost parts of Russia's nuclear modernization. We got some details on what that little round building looks like. Looks like a nice silo there, right? There's the blueprint that they dropped. Telling us, here's another one. Danwatch, in collaboration with German Der Spiegel, has come into possession of hundreds of detailed blueprints of Putin's new bases. You see a copy there. Look like some nice diagrams. Here's one. These documents now make it possible for the first time ever to fully penetrate some of Putin's best protected secrets. And here is what the 3D rendering looks like from inside. One of the world's leading experts on nuclear weapons takes us in. Now, with the help of these unique drawings, for the first time, get a look inside the buildings that are on the base. And they're giving us some renderings here of what they look like. Wow, some underground tunnels all the way underground. It's completely unprecedented. We're going in. Let's take a look around in a Russia nuclear building, going down the stairs, through the doors, making a right, looking for Putin's office, long corridor with more commies down there. We were going down even further, down into the basement, and that's what we've got. They say this was a big deal. Putin announced he was going to be doing a bunch of stuff here, and this is for the first time since the 1970s are we seeing some serious stuff. In December, Russian parliament adopted a new law that would tighten the rules for public procurement from the military, but now we see some stuff happening from inside. So they give us those details. According to sources, Russia's strategic missile forces form the backbone of the country's 3-legged nuclear deterrent. They've got heavy nuclear bombs that the missile forces can launch from buried silos or vehicles. They've also got air and sea-based nuclear weapons. Over 50,000 soldiers are part of the missile forces, which are divided into 3 armies, 12 divisions, more than 40 regiments. According to experts, the close to 900 operational nuclear warheads at the bases can launch at any time. More than anything, there's kind of psychological significance. These are weapons that can theoretically be used, but most experts agree that any use of them can quickly escalate to a devastating nuclear war of global scale. That's the mutually assured destruction protection. Perhaps that is why Russia's strategic missile forces see themselves as a last resort and purely a destructive force that only comes into play when all hope is lost. Their official motto is as poetic as it is terrifying. Their motto for the Russia missile team is "After us, silence." Yeah. Threat of mutual destruction has brought what many believe to be peace for now. Danwatch reached out to the Russians for this. They have not responded to their inquiries. So interesting piece there. A trip down Russia's nuclear silos. And don't know that this has any real consequence for, the ongoing conflict with Russia, or that this will change anything in Ukraine anytime soon. But interesting that the documents are being published. And always cool to poke inside nuclear facilities.